Hi, this is Luke with the Gamer, and we're going to talk about some of the best builds and light cones for Seele in Honkai Star Rail. Hoyoverse is known for having a ton of depth and detail in their games, and Honkai Star Rail is no different. Not only does the game have over 20 characters to choose from, but it also gives you the freedom of building each character to suit your playstyle. Seele is a 5-star limited character who follows the hunt path and deals quantum damage in combat. You can only get her when she's featured on the character event banner, and at the time of making this video she sadly isn't. Seele is one of the few characters that deals quantum damage in the game, so if you've already got her, she may be one of the most valuable characters you have. So let's talk about the best ways to build her. So to begin, let's talk about the best relics and ornaments for Seele. In terms of relics, we'd recommend either the Genius of Brilliant Stars set, which gives Seele an additional 10% quantum damage bonus, and this set will also allow you to ignore 20% of an opponent's defense if they have the quantum weakness, and 10% if they don't. It also stacks with extra resistance penetration given to Seele by one of her bonus abilities. Your other option is the Musketeer of Wild Wheat set. This relic set will give you extra attack, speed, and basic attack damage. However, this might not be as good for Seele since you'll mostly want to use her skill in combat, but it's a great starter relic set because the game gives you a lot of pieces for it. Moving on to her ornaments, the Sprightly Von Waku set? I don't know how you say that, that's a very weird spelling. Anyway, this 2-piece increases your energy regeneration rate by 5%, and your actions are advanced forward if you have a speed higher than 120. Seele also gets extra speed from her skill, which stacks well with this set. You could also consider the Space Sealing Station set. The best part about this ornament set is that Seele can utilise all the buffs provided, since you'll easily have over 120 speed on her. So in total, you could be looking at a 24% attack boost. Finally, you could try the Inner Salsato set. This can be a decent choice for Seele, but you won't be able to utilise one of its buffs. Seele's Resurgence attack is not considered a follow-up, so there are no follow-up attacks with her. However, the crit rate and ultimate damage boost are more than welcome since she can get her ultimate faster as well. The main stats for head and hand relics are guaranteed to be health and attack respectively. As for the rest of the relics and ornaments, here is what you should be looking for. On the body, you should be looking preferably for crit rate, but crit damage is also acceptable. On feet relics, look for speed or attack percent. On the planar spheres, look for quantum damage bonus, and on the link rope, you're looking for attack percent. The only scenario where you'd want to have speed as the main stat is if you're using the Space Sealing Station ornament set. When it comes to light cones, Honkai Star Rail is a little restrictive since the light cone's ability only works if the path is the same as the character's path. So naturally you'll want to use hunt light cones on Seele, and here are what we think are the best choices. First of all is the In the Night, a 5-star light cone that is Seele's signature light cone. It gives her an additional 18% critical rate. Moreover, your basic attack, skill, and ultimate damage increase based on your speed over 100. Another 5-star light cone you could consider is Cruising in the Stellar Sea. This is more of a free-to-play light cone that can be found in Herta's store. At Super in position 1, it gives an extra 16% crit rate if the target enemy has 50% or lower health. Moreover, Seele's attack is increased every time she defeats an enemy, which synergizes with her talent. Moving on to 4-star relics, you could consider Only Silence Remains. This light cone can be good on Seele, but it's also a little counterintuitive. You only get the crit rate boost if there are 2 or fewer enemies on the field, but Seele is very strong against hordes of enemies. However, it can be a great pick if you're going to fight single target boss enemies. Another 4-star is Return to Darkness. This light cone gives you a 12% crit rate by default, and you also have a chance to remove 1 buff from a target enemy. If you can get this to Super in position 5, it becomes one of the best light cones for her. And finally, a couple of 3-star cones you can consider. First is Arrows. If you're just starting in the game, this 3-star light cone gives her early game crit rate that she needs. Moreover, you can easily get it to Super in position 5 since it's a 3-star cone. The other one to consider is Adversarial. This light cone synergizes with Seele's talent as it gives you an increased speed whenever you defeat an enemy, and she already gets an extra turn for doing that. Each character in Honkai Star Rail has many traces or abilities that can be upgraded and unlocked at different levels. These traces include free active abilities and a bunch of passives that make active abilities stronger. For a full list and complete breakdown, make sure to check out the original guide as linked in the description. For now, let's just talk about the abilities you should focus on upgrading, because you'll get the most damage from Seele's skill, which makes it the main priority for upgrades. You can either upgrade her talent or her ultimate next, since they're both equally important. And finally, you can upgrade her basic attack whenever you have extra materials. Out of all the bonus abilities, Lacerate is the most important one, since it gives resistance penetration, which increases her damage significantly. Rippling Waves also gives a reason to use her basic attack sometimes. With the number of traces, light cones and relics that Seele has, it can be quite difficult to keep up with everything. And if you build Seele the wrong way, you can easily start getting diminishing returns from her. So here are a few tips to help with that. Don't build too much speed on this character. She already gets a bunch of speed when she uses her skill, and her actions are also advanced forward from one of her passives. This is the game's way of telling you that you can focus on other stats while building Seele. Pay attention to who you put in a team with her. Seele is a skill-hungry character, which means that you'll be using a lot of skill points with her. If you're running a buffer that also needs to use a skill, it's important that the other two characters in your team mainly rely on basic attacks. While she can still be good, Seele's damage reduces significantly if an enemy doesn't have quantum weakness in the late game. It's important to choose the correct enemy when using your ultimate. Every character in Honkai Star Rail has 6 Eidolons that you can unlock upon getting a copy of that character. When it comes to Seele, she's already a great character without any of these Eidolons. She can single-handedly carry you through all content during the early game, and she's one of the best damage characters in the late game. Her first and second Eidolons can make up for some of the problems in her kit, which makes them really worth it, though it's not recommended to go any further from that unless you really like the character. These 2 Eidolons will make her quite a broken character. So that's our guide on the best ways to build Seele in Honkai Star Rail. Thanks for watching, and check out thegamer.com for more.